right, welcome to Cincinnati.com Sports Beyond the Stripes. With Paul Daugherty, presented by JosephAuto.com. I am Paul Daugherty Jr. We are here live at the Moerlein Lager House. There we go. I'm gonna give you a chance to do that again. We're here live at the Moerlein Lager House. I'm here with Paul Daugherty. Doc, these people just need a little oomph sometimes.
They need to remember what they witnessed on Sunday.
What they witnessed on Sunday was Bengals 34, Packers 30 in one of the wildest games, I think, maybe in the history of Paul Brown's Stadium. But we're here with Joe Reedy as well to talk about it. Joe, I sat next to you. We didn't know what we were witnessing, and we're just trying to figure it out as the hashtag Bengals tweet stream went to flux capacitor at 88 mile per hour mode. What is the biggest thing you took away from the insanity of those 3 hours?
Paul, here's the situation. To steal a quote from the referee from Sunday, I think both of us, when Terrence Newman returned a fumble, were looking for Vince McMahon to see what was going on. I mean, we've seen wild finishes in this series. The Brett Favre game in '92, drunken fan running out on the field in 2005, Chad's Lambeau leap in '09. But I think tremendous resiliency from this team. 4 turnovers in the first half, able to rally and win. Mike Zimmer said yesterday, defense was winded, down 30-14, but the offense with a huge drive to make it 30-21, then forced 3 turnovers. And then the wildness ensued in the last 5 minutes, and I think Dave Lapham's still in the cardiac unit.
No doubt. Nearly 11 minutes the defense is on the field in the fourth quarter. Unbelievable. Doc, these are the games that the Bengals don't win, that have not won in the past. But this new incarnation proved something, and it was something that has been talked about all offseason about why this team could be different.
No question. I think this game reinforced something that they believed about themselves, but weren't quite sure. How do we react when you get down 16 to a really good team? How does our defense stand up against the best quarterback in the NFL? These are questions that they thought they had answered, but weren't sure coming into this game. Now they've got answers. Whether that carries over to next week and the week after that and the month after that and so on remains to be seen. They seem to have built a good foundation, and I think that they, as much as anything, won this game between the ears. They decided, this is our time, this is our team, we're at home, we're playing a good team, now is the time to establish ourselves and keep this thing rolling, and that's exactly what they did.
I think they partially won it from what happened in Chicago when they lost the game between the ears as well. I think the lessons that came from that taught them things that helped them stay in this, not lose their composure, and not be the teams getting the critical pains and giving themselves the opportunity to win the game.
And I think, Paul, when you look at the second quarter with as many times as Green Bay was in the red zone, the offense didn't score a touchdown. Three Green Bay touchdowns, 2 on the long drives in the third quarter, and then the MD Jennings fumble return in the second quarter. This defense with huge stops in the red zone in the second quarter to force field goals, including Aaron Rodgers being flummoxed there in the second quarter, running a bootleg where he looked delayed and got stopped at the 1. This defense was clearly in Aaron Rodgers' head, and even Aaron Rodgers saluted Mike Zimmer during the second quarter.
He did salute him. He was not saluting his head coach at one point in the first half, but that's because of what Mike Zimmer did. I mean, you saw that kind of went national a little bit. Yeah. McCarthy and Rodgers getting into it. It's something that happens on the football field is the explanation. But, Doc, it's more something that happens when a defense is frustrating an offense.
This was a game where Mike Zimmer earned his bones. You want Mike Zimmer to think. You want to think about Mike Zimmer as your head coach? Get the tape of this game. He wanted to rush 4 without blitzing a lot so he could drop 7 into coverage. That was exactly what he did. They were able to pick on the rookie left tackle. Michael Johnson had a great game. Carlos Dunlap had a great game. Leon Hall had a great game, I thought. And Adam Jones, who we will talk about momentarily, also had a really good game. But this was the kind of game that a defensive coordinator can really put his stamp on, and Zimmer did.
You talk about a coach with who's auditioning to be a head coach. Also, go to the post-game press conference and listen to Terrence Newman talk about Mike Zimmer. We saw Terrence Newman get choked up talking about his relationship with Mike Zimmer, what he's meant to his career, and bringing him back from what many thought was the 33-year-old scrap heap where so many NFL cornerbacks fall off the map. Mike Zimmer brought him in here and helped bring him back, and he has played fantastic in his year plus here now, and maybe his best game that he had here on Sunday.
Just added at the end, Paul, to that 5-minute kind of testimonial video during Hard Knocks of Adam Jones and Vontaze Burfict talking about Mike Zimmer, and then Zimmer on the golf cart.
Yeah, we've learned quite a bit about this team on Sunday. And we learned a little about the offense. Andy Dalton maybe goes untalked about a little bit because of how well the defense played. But the drives that they put together to pull back into that game, to set up the Newman return, were the things that he's here for. And what he's really done since he's been here, he's found ways to win games. People want to criticize a lot of things about Andy Dalton, but yet again, found a way to win.
He did, and he's utilizing the new guys. I think he got a whole lot out of Giovanni Bernard. Let's hope, and we think that we're going to see a lot more of this guy. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis is a guy, if you need a yard, he'll get you a yard. If you need a 1-yard touchdown run, he'll probably get you that. He's not the explosive guy that Bernard is. I said it a couple of weeks ago. I've been here long enough I can make the comparison that Bernard reminds me a lot of James Brooks.
Yeah.
With the explosiveness, the small guy can kind of get lost behind a big tackle. When he's making a run, can get open, can receive, can catch the ball, can run after the catch. Just a terrific weapon, and I think we're seeing already how Andy Dalton is able to utilize this guy.
Yeah. Absolutely, and we have one more topic we want to get to. Obviously, a lot happened on Sunday, but we learn a little bit more. Unfortunately, an incident occurs after the game Sunday and Monday morning. Doc, what do you make of the Adam Jones incident?
I think that Adam Jones at some point has to learn that he cannot keep putting himself in these situations. He absolutely cannot be out at 2:30 in the morning. I don't care if it's his birthday or whatever it is. If he has learned anything since his Pac-Man days, it's that because you're in the NFL, because you have the notoriety, you have to keep a lower profile than the rest of us.
And if he's found guilty in either situation, Roger will sit him down.
That is the issue, is with your past. Roger has shown no hesitation to lay down the hand in whatever he's able to send it out to his league that he will not tolerate that type of behavior. That's been his MO since he got here. We will see how that plays out. But we have plenty here for you at the Moerlein Lager House because we've got Lindsay. She's out there in the tables. Lindsay, a lot of craziness going out there. What's happening?
It's crazy, just like the game on Sunday. Lots of Packer fans, lots of Bengal fans in that stadium. I can't believe they won. I think we're still asking ourselves on Tuesday, they won that game, really? It was definitely a great game by the defense. Running back Giovanni Bernard putting another performance on the field, and a great play by Terrence Newman. The team also making NFL history, being up 14, down 16, and still finding a way to win that game. I know you guys will add on that. Back to you guys.
That's right. We've got plenty of things to talk about. We want to hear from you, though. We want to hear your questions. So make sure you shoot them to us right now. You can send them to us on Twitter. Just make sure you use hashtag #BeyondTheStripes. Or you can also talk to us on Facebook at /Cincinnati Enquirer. We want to hear from you. We'll get to them if we can today. Lindsay will be monitoring that and bringing everything she can. But hey, you got questions. You probably got questions for our guest tonight. Our guest tonight, Cincinnati Bengals rookie, second-round pick, Margus Hunt. How about that?
Welcome to the show, Margus.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're quite welcome. We are honored to have you here. You had a front row seat Sunday to what your guys did. What are your general thoughts right off the top about the way the team played, specifically the way your group played?
Well, as a team, I think the biggest thing we did was we held together. That was the one main thing that Coach Lewis talked about in the beginning of the season, was that if we want to go where we want to go, we have to stick together as a team through thick and thin. So we did that, and we kept believing, we kept fighting our tails off, and especially with the defensive line. I mean, those guys went after Aaron Rodgers all day long. So, I mean, it was absolutely amazing.
Well, every week here we have the josephauto.com drive of the game, and I want to talk about a drive that was specific to your unit, which was when you're looking at 3:47 left, and Aaron Rodgers takes the ball after the Bengals just go up. They run down 13 plays and 60 yards, 3 knockdowns by the defensive line, Carlos Dunlap, Michael Johnson. How often do you guys practice that type of thing to try and get those type of knockdowns on plays?
Pretty much every practice, essentially. We have a specific drill for it every week, but we emphasize it when we go against each other in practice as well. So it's, every day basically.
That's kind of what a big part of what brought you here. I mean, you're obviously here because of your size, among other things. How much do you feel like you learn from those guys in just watching that drive alone on how to do that?
Well, it's just about effort. I mean, Coach Hayes always emphasizes that effort doesn't acquire any talent. So, I mean, they add effort. I mean, Michael was going at it, Carlos was getting at it. I mean, Domatan, everyone. I mean, that's what we pride ourselves.
Just with that defensive line, Margus, just with Michael Johnson and Carlos Dunlap, how much are they teaching you as far as technique and everything?
Quite a lot every day. I mean, whenever we do our own individual stuff and we go over either plays or the footwork or whatever's going on, Michael and Carlos, I mean, they both give pointers, and with the defense as well, there's some plays where you're not blitzing, you're dropping out or whatever's going on. So there are certain patterns that you have to know about what to look for from the offense and who to cover and how to drop and all that stuff. So that's all new to me. I mean, we didn't do that in college, so just trying to learn all that from those guys.
Does that compare to any wild games you had at SMU? Did anything compare to that?
Well, a couple of years ago when we beat TCU, I mean, that came down to the last drive, and that went eventually to overtime. So, I mean, there's a few examples, yeah. And my sophomore year, when our last game of the regular season depended whether or not we're going to go to the conference championship, and that went to overtime. So, I mean, there's been some close games.
Without doubt, you can see in college, you can see the 3, the 4 overtime games. I think we felt like we lived through about an 8 overtime game on Sunday. But we've got plenty more to talk about when we're going to talk with Margus Hunt, because a lot of people in the NFL have a story, but few have one quite as remarkable as Margus Hunt, a former junior Olympic shot put and discus champion, the pride of Estonia, if you will. We'll have plenty more with him while we're here at the Moerlein Lager House at Cincinnati.com Sports Beyond the Stripes with Paul Daugherty, presented by josephauto.com. We'll be right back.
Chris, how you doing?
Hey, what's happening? This place looks awesome. Brand new showroom, brand new service department. Now all I need is a new caddy. And I'm thinking the North American Car of the Year, the ATS right here. What do you think?
Nice car, Chris, and only $299 a month. But a guy your size, you need the comfort, the technology that this car has. The XTS for only $399 a month.
For $100 more, I can do this?
$100.
I'll win that from you on the golf course. Come on, let's do it.
Compliments of Camargo Cadillac.
Have you heard about all the fun things happening this summer? Festivals, concerts, movies, restaurants, fun places to go, exciting things to do? If you don't get the Enquirer and Cincinnati.com, you're missing out. We tell you about events in every community for every taste. And be sure to download the exclusive Things to Do app to have the best entertainment guide right at your fingertips. The Enquirer and Cincinnati.com. Subscribe today at Cincinnati.com/subscribe.
All right, welcome back to the Moerlein Lager House. We are here at the Cincinnati.com Sports Beyond the Stripes with Paul Daugherty, presented by josephauto.com. I am here with Lindsay Patterson, who has been monitoring the Twitterverse. Tell me, what is happening on Twitter? What are the questions that we have?
Lots of tweets out there. Andre wants to know, are NFL games televised in Estonia?
The last I heard was that they're trying to get something going with the TV contractors over here or something to get like games over there, but I don't know how far that's gone and if they have any.
So as a kid, did you get the chance to ever pay attention to the NFL? Nothing.
No.
Knew nothing. Oh my goodness.
When did you see your first NFL game?
When I came here.
When you came here.
Yeah.
So you had never seen a game before until
2008.
2008. What was the first game?
I came here in January, so I saw the what was it, Super Bowl? Was it New England and Giants, right? That year, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you have any idea what you were watching at that? I mean, were you just
Not really. I mean, I was in the dorms, and the two guys who I was with, one was a diehard Giants fan, the other was a diehard Patriots fan, and they were just going at it, and I was just sitting there.
Now, how quickly though? You went to SMU, Dallas, Cowboys, America's team, glitz, glamour, money, on and on and on. How quickly did you catch on to the fact that the Cowboys were something special and the attention paid them was a little bit nuts?
Quite fast, because they were actually the only team I knew about before I even came over. They're the Americans team and whatnot, but I did know about them, and then one of my friends, he's a diehard Redskins fan, so I had to buy a Cowboys hat to piss him off for game days.
Now, I also want to know, because I'm going to butcher this, so I have to apologize in advance. Your birthplace is Karksi Nuya? Is that anywhere near the correct pronunciation?
It was pretty good.
Oh, all right, good. But so tell me, is it a bigger deal back there to people there that you are in the NFL now, or that you were a junior Olympic shot put and discus champion?
I mean, they're both this might be overshadowing what I did when I was a junior in track and field. It's definitely a bigger step than track and field. I mean, this is a lot harder. This competition is a lot harder. But I don't know. They're still kind of trying to get over the fact that I switched from track and field to football. So,
well, for those who don't know your story, you came to the United States, to SMU, with the intention of training with a very well-known, well-respected coach. The track team was disbanded. They saw you in the workout room, suggested you try football, and the rest is history. I guess I'm curious, what part of your story was most amazing to you?
Just the fact that I got a scholarship. SMU has a great head coach in June Jones. I mean, we had to try out. I tried out for the defensive line position right away, and he's really open-minded, and he just likes to gamble at times with stuff like that. And it didn't hit me until a little bit later that that scholarship is a lot bigger than I made it to be. So I took full advantage of that.
And you had to at the time. There was not like a big money pipeline sending money to Margus in Dallas. You had to have that scholarship to remain in school, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's it like working with a guy like Mike Zimmer? Have you ever had a coach like him?
Yeah, I mean, our defensive coordinator at SMU was quite like him. I mean, Coach Zimmer is a little bit, they're really similar. I mean, it's hard to draw a line. I mean, they're straightforward, they're calm when they need to be, they get their point across, they don't talk a lot about, they don't beat around the bush, they just, if they're going to cuss you out, they're going to cuss you out. And, I didn't see, for me, it wasn't a change going from my old defensive coordinator to this one.
How much cussing out is Mike Zimmer doing of you these days?
Not a lot. I mean, I really haven't been cussed out yet, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Oh, you might remember that, Margus.
Yeah.
You might.
Yeah.
But I've talked with you about this, and some of your teammates have come up and talked in the middle of our conversation about how they want to challenge you. They think that they can throw the shot or the discus further than you. Has this challenge occurred yet? Have they come up to you and say they believe they can beat you?
Well, Gino is a firm believer that he can beat me in shot put, and we started those talks in OTAs already, and he told me that he has a shot put and he has a shot put, and I told him to just bring it to practice. Let's do it. Let's get it over with. And ever since May, I'm still waiting for him to kind of be a man and do it.
Has there been any wager? Has there been any wager on the outcome?
Not yet.
None.
He's just talking at this moment.
You know, speaking of Geno, you have Geno Adkins, Michael Johnson, Carlos Dunlap. What's it like having those guys to look at on the field, getting kind of a leadership, watching what they do?
Yeah, and especially how they play. I mean, the way they play, I mean, speaks for itself. They all go hard. You know, Geno has great explosiveness, you know, getting off the ball. I mean, everyone does on the defensive line. So it's good to learn from what they do and, you know, get better from that.
You've been here, like you said, since 2008, so you know all about what America is about, probably for better and worse as well. Tell me, what is the thing that you like the most about America, so when you go back to Estonia, that you miss? And then I also want to know what you hate the most about America compared to to Estonia.
Well, I was in Texas, so I loved the fact that it was warm.
Yeah.
I mean, it got pretty hot during the summer, though. I mean, camps weren't that great, but other than that, I mean, I've been loving every moment ever since I got here, and you know, that was one of the big things, was whether or not I would like it here. And actually, a year before I went to college, I came to visit for a month, and I mean, I just fell in love right away, and you know, I really, I mean, I haven't just found the bad side yet.
What is the weather like in Estonia? We don't obviously know. Is it typically hotter, or just always cooler, or?
Well, summers are beautiful because it's quite far up north, so it gets a lot of sunshine, and days are really long. So, but right about now, it's starting to get cold, and you know, winter is starting to creep in.
Well, we got plenty of time to learn more about Margus Hunt and everything about his football. But next, we're going to talk a little bit about the Browns game with Margus. We're going to bring Joe Reedy back, talk play more, because the season, apparently it doesn't end after a big win. You have to keep playing, and the Bengals have to keep doing that, so we'll keep doing it. So we're still here at the Moerlein Lager House. People are still drinking. I'm trying to pander to the people to cheer. Can we at least cheer about alcohol at the Moerlein Lager House? All you got to do is talk about beer, and then people cheer. It's very easy. But anyway, so we'll be back right after this on the Cincinnati.com Beyond the Stripes with Paul Daugherty, presented by josephauto.com.
Do not, I repeat, do not buy a 2013 Chevy from another dealer. Not when you can get a 2014 from Joseph Chevrolet for the same price or less. Seriously, Joseph Chevrolet's 2014s are a better deal than anyone else's 2013s. $129 a month for a new Cruise? Up to $6,500 off a 2014 Silverado? Now that's a clearance sale. Don't pay more for a 2013 than a 2014. Come to Joseph Chevrolet now.
Uncle Ray. Have you heard about all the fun things happening this summer? Festivals, concerts, movies, restaurants, fun places to go, exciting things to do? If you don't get the Enquirer and Cincinnati.com, you're missing out. We tell you about events in every community for every taste. And be sure to download the exclusive Things to Do app to have the best entertainment guide right at your fingertips. The Enquirer and Cincinnati.com. Subscribe today at Cincinnati.com/subscribe.
All right, welcome back to Cincinnati.com Sports Beyond the Stripes. Paul Daugherty, presented by josephauto.com. We're still happy to be here at the Moerlein Lager House. I'd like to thank all our Bengals fans that are here with us, even though the Reds fans deserted us. They have more important things to get to today, but we have more important things to get to today as well. We have to talk about the next game, which is in Cleveland. Bengals-Browns, 1 o'clock Sunday. And really, we got to go to Joe Reedy for this. Joe Reedy, you know quite a bit about the Browns franchise.
Yes, I do, Paul.
Particularly all the stats of their ineptitude since their reincarnation. I'm sure you could just line them all off for us, but I won't make you do that. I don't want to see you squirm up here.
Thank you, Paul.
Let's talk. What do we make? The Browns get their first win on Sunday against the Vikings. One that really nobody expected. I think all of us were pretty shocked to see that score.
I was thinking 0-16 for Cleveland, quite honestly.
So How did it happen, and what do Bengals fans need to be concerned about?
Brian Hoyer, first Cleveland quarterback since Otto Graham to throw 3 touchdowns in his first NFL start for Cleveland. Cleveland St. Ignatius guy. I think those of us who know high school football around the state know what a strong program Ignatius has been during the years. Hoyer's kind of bounced around from different teams, but now that he has a chance, I think it's going to be really interesting because this was on the road in Minnesota. Now Brian Hoyer at home in Cleveland. How much nerves and jitters does he have in a start in front of the home fans? I think Jordan Cameron, we talk about Tyler Eifert as among rookie tight ends. Jordan Cameron's having a heck of a year. 3 touchdown catches. Running game still a little bit of a struggle. But that Browns defense, that front 7, pretty good, including Barkevius Mingo, the first-round pick.
We also saw last week they emptied the playbook. I mean, we saw the fake punt. There was a fake field goal for a touchdown. Everything. Joe, it's not good when you have to empty the playbook in week 3 to get a win.
But there's a lot of similarities, Paul, to when the Bengals went up there in 2007, week 2. Everybody considered them down and out. Then was a 51-45 shootout on the riverfront up there at Lake Erie. And the Browns won. Rob Chudzinski was offensive coordinator in that game. Now he's the head coach. Mike Zimmer interviewed in Cleveland and is probably thankful that he didn't get that job, considering everything. But I think it's going to be interesting. Margus, just on the off day, how much of Cleveland's game film have you seen already?
I watched, so far I watched a little bit of their previous game.
I think the concern probably is looking at, okay, big win over Green Bay. Then you look at the Patriots next week. People get concerned going on the road against a team that's supposedly down. What have some of the coaches been saying to you guys as far as trying to avoid overlooking and not letting this be a trap game of sorts?
Well, we haven't even mentioned Patriots yet. Coach Lewis made it clear that this is a division game. This is a big-time, game, and it always goes down to the wire. I mean, we have to play our best to win again. I mean, you never know. This is the NFL, and anything can happen.
I thought Marvin made a great point after the game Sunday, basically saying this is a great win right now. It means nothing if we don't take care of business next week and the week after that and the week after that. If we build on this, if we look back 3 months from now and say, that was the game where this team established itself, fine. It starts Sunday in Cleveland. Otherwise, we'll look back 3 months from now and say, well, that was a really fun game, but it didn't maybe have the impact that we had hoped. And I think we need to throw in a disclaimer that Joe Reedy is a Cleveland guy, and he's a Cleveland fan, so he's going to say nice stuff about the Browns. The Browns traded their best player last week. They've kind of packed it in for the year already. Their players know that they've packed it in for the year already, and the Bengals ought to go up there, and if all they need to do is take care of business, and it should be a fairly simple victory.
But, I mean, Doc, there were many people in Cleveland who are wondering 2 weeks in, why do you trade a running back for a draft pick, and that they were giving up on the season. So, I mean, it shocked the league, but it might have shocked people in Cleveland more that they pulled out this win. But I think many similarities going into this game is 2009. Week 3 here. Big win against the Steelers. Win up to Cleveland. If it wasn't for a Shane Graham field goal that Rob Ryan, I think, still thinks was wide right, that game ends in a tie. And Cleveland was 0-3 at the time. So Marvin can just go back 4 years and go, really, it's a one-week league.
But is this team good enough, the Browns, I mean, to line up, play regular football, and beat the Bengals, or is it going to have to be another bag of tricks that the team's going to have to be worried about?
I think the defensive front 7 with Ray Horton, who used to play here and be defensive coordinator, they've got a pretty good defense. Now they're switching to a 3-4, different scheme, different alignment and everything, but it's starting to come together. Mingo, 2 sacks in his first 2 games. That's going to be an interesting matchup with Andrew Whitworth. Offensively, I think still got a way to go, but I think Bengals offense versus Browns defense is going to be the big matchups to watch.
Plenty of matchups to watch. We've got one more thing to watch. We have Lindsay, who's out at the tables. Lindsay, you have a fan. Give us the goodness.
I have Joe right here, a Bengals fan. I'm going to ask him, what does this team have to do to beat the Browns on Sunday?
Lindsay, I think they've got to be strong at DB, where we've got a bunch of question marks. So hopefully we can fill in the gaps. We've got a lot of injuries there. Continue with the defensive pressure, which has been absolutely awesome. Probably the best overall talent and depth I've seen since 1988. So just keep the pressure on him. Hopefully also Andy Dalton, who's a great athlete and he's smart. And you hope that with as likable and versatile as he is, he can also be consistent from game to game. And I think if he is, and the defense is what it was last week, we'll do it again.
I think that sums it up. Back to you guys.
I guess the question then becomes, yes, let's hear it for him. I guess the question then becomes, how do you attack this Browns defense, which has proven itself to be amongst AFC North quality? I mean, is it just a matter of doing the same thing that you have been doing with Andy Dalton, all these weapons, and just having them continue to develop?
I don't think if you're the Bengals that you try to do things to defeat the Browns defense. I think you go in there with the attitude, we're pretty good. We got our own offense. We got things we do really well, and we're going to do them. We're not going to worry about what the Browns dictate to us. We're going to dictate to them.
Margus, who impresses you most when you watch these guys play, when you go against them in practice? Who impresses you most of the Bengals offense?
Well, it's hard to find him behind the big offensive line, so he has that advantage. Other than that, I mean, AJ has been unbelievable out there. Mo, Tyler, Jermaine Gresham. I mean, they're all big time weapons, and I've tried to get my game better to go against those guys because a bunch of those guys, especially Jermaine. I mean, him blocking, and when we go against each other, it's always kind of a dogfight, and he kind of messes around too. But it's a great offense, and they have plenty of weapons.
How much does he push up against you, Jermaine? I'm talking about in practice. I mean, you guys aren't supposed to be going too hard in practice. You're supposed to be taking it easy, but is that not the case?
Well, yeah, I mean it is, but it's just sometimes he likes to kind of goof around, and we kind of get into those situations where he's trying to mess my technique up by doing kind of his thing. So, and I'm trying to fight him to get my technique done, but it's been a good challenge.
What has surprised you? You've been here now, obviously, since draft. You've been through camps. You've been through a few games, practice every day. Has there been anything that has happened that you did not expect, that you were not really prepared for?
Well, just the things that I expected to happen. The game is faster. Everyone's big and strong. I mean, everyone can run. Everyone can block. The quarterbacks are on target, so you have to elevate your own game to beat the offensive lineman. Get the sack, get the tackle. So it's nothing over the top or overwhelming. It's just everything I thought would happen, and I've been trying to get ready to play.
You think where do you think your learning curve's at now? Is it where you've wanted it to be 3 weeks into the season, or is it a little bit steeper than maybe what you thought it would be?
Well, I don't think it's any steeper. Every practice, I feel I get better. I get more comfortable with what's going on, and seeing the offense and kind of getting the reads already. What might be the outcome, and things like that. So, I mean, when I first came here, and trying to get the defense in, and then just running around like a blind dog in a meat house, trying to run the ball down and what's going on. So, taking gradual steps. Coach Zimmer and Coach Hayes have been really patient and taking their time, and it's every day I have to get better and not repeat the mistakes I did the day before.
Well, this has sort of been discussed as your redshirt year, much like we saw last year with Devin Still and Brandon Thompson. Is there a thought or how much discussion has been made about that red shirt being lifted? I know Mike Zimmer said to us a couple weeks ago it may be over soon. Where are you at in understanding how that's going to play out as the season goes by?
Well, you never know. The biggest thing for me is to know what either I have to work on something more or get learn the plays or work on some more technique or what's going on. So I just have to keep, it's the same thing. I mean, you have to do your best in practice, and you have to show up in practice to get the playing time.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, we've really been having a great time here talking with Margus Hunt at the Moerlein Lager House. We are going to continue to do that, but the fun has only just begun, we hope. We're going to play a little bit of a fun game with Margus Hunt. We're going to have him out here, and Lindsay's going to come have a good time as well. So, hey, keep coming back. Keep talking to us. We're still here at the Moerlein Lager House. People are still drinking. If you want to come down, if you're watching us on your tablet or wherever, come down and join us. We'll be having a few beers afterwards. Doc, I heard you enjoy doing that on occasion.
Only occasionally. Only occasionally.
Only occasionally.
Yeah.
We'll be here doing that, so keep coming back here. Cincinnati.com Sports Beyond the Stripes with Paul Daugherty, presented by JosephAuto.com. We'll be right back.
Chris, how you doing?
Hey, what's happening? This place looks awesome. Brand new showroom, brand new service department. Now all I need is a new caddy. I'm thinking the North American Car of the Year, the ATS right here. What do you think?
Nice car, Chris, and only $299 a month. But a guy your size, you need the comfort, the technology that this car has. The XTS for only $399 a month.
For $100 more, I can do this?
$100.
I'll win that from you on the golf course. Come on, let's do it.
Compliments of Camargo Cadillac.
Have you heard about all the fun things happening this summer? Festivals, concerts, movies, restaurants, fun places to go, exciting things to do? If you don't get the Enquirer and Cincinnati.com, you're missing out. We tell you about events in every community for every taste. And be sure to download the exclusive Things to Do app to have the best entertainment guide right at your fingertips. The Enquirer and Cincinnati.com. Subscribe today at Cincinnati.com/subscribe.
Welcome back. I'm Paul Daugherty. So nice to be with you tonight. Come back in the next 14 Tuesdays, I think. And if you can't do that, watch us streaming on Cincinnati.com. You know, Marvin Lewis doesn't always say things best, but he did shortly after the game on Sunday. That game only puts the Bengals in better position to win the next game. That is, the Hollywood comeback against Green Bay will mean nothing without a winning sequel at Cleveland. The NFL is a what have you done for me in the last 5 minutes league. If the Bengals are to build on the Green Bay win and show the rest of the league that they are in fact an elite team, the proving begins this week against an inferior opponent on the road 7 days after a highly emotional victory against the Packers. On Sunday, the Bengals reinforced everything they thought they knew about themselves, but weren't quite sure. At Cleveland, they need to start putting that belief into action week after week.
Thank you, Doc. We appreciate it. That's an it's a very interesting thought, because it's funny how week to week the conversation changes dramatically, whether nationally, whether locally. After the Chicago loss, everyone was discussing, what is wrong with this team? Are they going to be this team that always fails in these situations and has lack of composure all year? And now everyone talks about how great the composure is. It changes so much, and a lot. You're right, Doc's right. A loss at Cleveland would change the narrative completely.
It doesn't change in 1 week, Paul. It changes in 1 quarter, 1 possession. It's amazing. Kind of I call it the virtual bandwagon. I think there were a lot of people getting off at halftime in the second quarter, and then third quarter, fourth quarter, it started building up again. But Ken Brew and I talked about this Sunday morning. This is a huge win as far as groundswell, and I think it builds on and gets better from here. But this week in Cleveland's going to be the key. Can't overlook Week 5 against New England, and then you got 2 road games against Buffalo and Detroit, so the challenges keep getting steeper.
Yeah, they certainly do it. At halftime, we saw the hashtag Fire Marvin Lewis shows up, and afterwards, it's Marvin Lewis is the greatest coach ever. It changes by the quarter. You never know what to expect in this league except the unexpected, and everybody to change their minds pretty much instantly. All the teams can do is play football and hope that it bears out at the end. But we're not done. Margus has a piano, or a keyboard in front of him, I should say. So apparently we're going to get a little tickling of the iris. I was hoping while you read your beautiful soliloquy that he would play under you Tom Rinaldi-esque, and we could get... But we're going to hear from Margus. When did you start playing, when did you learn to play the piano?
It was my my last year at SMU. My final semester, basically. Yeah.
How did that come up? There's not a lot of football players who are looking to get some piano lessons in.
Well, I was looking at some classes and what to fill my schedule with, and I always wanted to learn an instrument, and I wanted to take guitar, but the class didn't fit my schedule, so my academic advisor recommended maybe piano. So I was just like, okay, let's do it.
So how would you characterize your skills?
Beginner.
Beginner. So are you going to give us a little bit of these beginner skills? Can we hear what you have to offer? Do we want to hear him play a little bit of the keyboard? A little bit of the keyboard coming.
I feel like we're at a judging table of America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
I'm not Howie Mandel, by the way.
But is Doc Piers Morgan?
Yeah. I don't know.
A lot of pressure.
We're waiting for you.
I'm never nervous. Now I am, though. So. Sorry, it's not a standard keyboard, so it's kind of throwing me off.
What is this weak keyboard? Can we get a real keyboard in the house, please?
No.
No pressure.
Look at me, Margus Hunt.
I know how to play that part. It's just one more try.
He wants more.
One more.
He would not go out like this. Yeah! How about it?
So Saturday at the hotel in Beechwood, you'll be giving another command performance?
Sure.
We will see Margus at the piano with all his players standing around waiting for him to just continue to tickle it. We love it. Margus Hunt, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. So great for Margus to come out here and play this. It's great to have him. Thank you to everybody else for coming out here to the Moerlein Lager House. It's been fantastic. Remember, we are here every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. We are on your tablet. We're on your phone. We're everywhere that you maybe don't want us to be, but we are here. So make sure you keep checking us out.
Take us everywhere.
Yes, Cincinnati.com. Check out the blog. Make sure you keep checking it at Cincinnati.com. We'll have all your coverage of Bengals-Browns, which is this Sunday at 1 o'clock. And next week, here, we will have quarterback Josh Johnson in the house with us, and he will come join us. So make sure you come back out here. Check that out. So for Joe Reedy, at Inquirer Doc, at Lindsey Patterson, I'm at Paul Daugherty Jr. Find us on Twitter. We'll be back here. Thank you for joining us at Beyond the Stripes with Paul Daugherty, presented by JoeSfato.com.